All right, we're live. A couple minutes early even.
Oh, look at us go.
Look at us go.
What are we talking about next week?
Oh, look at you being proactive.
I want to get into this.
Well, I know before next week, I'm definitely going to watch both the Rescue Rangers movie and Lightyear. So, either way.
I have already watched the Rescue Rangers movie, so that works out for me pretty well. I'm like 50% on even seeing Lightyear.
Yeah, I'm not sure when we're going to see Lightyear. So, I had no intention of watching the Rescue Rangers movie, so I've never watched any Rescue Rangers anything. So
It is immaterial.
all right. Well, you know what? Let's just do that then.
Fuck yeah.
Ooh.
Let's go ahead and get this party started. Hey, this is Tony.
Oh, hey, it's Mitch.
And this is David.
And we are the Backseat Producers. Let's see.
Next week, we're talking about the Rescue Rangers movie.
We are.
This week, we're talking about Interceptor.
Yes, we are.
I feel like Interceptor is far less likely to inspire a generation of furries.
I feel like it's going to inspire something.
I might agree with that. I think I'm going to agree with that, Mitch.
I don't know if that's in the pro or the con column, though.
Yeah. I'm right on the same page with you on that as well. David, what'd you think of this movie?
This was a bad movie. It was just a bad movie. Not in the fun way. Not in the, there's like, some redeemable parts. It was just bad.
Yep. Mitch.
I tried. I tried to... I want to support a new director who's doing his first movie, and I tried to find things to like about it. And the closest I got is like, if you assume that this was a total fantasy world, not connected to our world at all, and that all of the things they said in the movie were true, then maybe a 2-star.
Okay. All right. I understand the words that you have said.
Mm-hmm.
My high-level review of this movie is this felt like somebody dusted off a spec script from the 80s and stripped and made one change. And that, you know what? Maybe they didn't even make a change. Maybe this was originally a Cynthia Rothrock vehicle. And yeah, they may not have even had to make a change if this was originally a Cynthia Rothrock vehicle. I'll go ahead and amend it to say that, because she was in a lot of those fighty. She was the token blonde female in a lot of those fighty type movies.
Mm-hmm. Like if you bought a DVD player.
Oh, you know what this was? This was like, so there was Under Siege. There was a couple of Under Siege movies.
Mm-hmm.
This was like Under Siege, whatever the next one was going to be. I don't, because I know there was two. There,
yeah.
I don't
Under
know if there was
Siege
more.
And Under Siege Dark Territory.
Mm-hmm.
Was there? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So this was the Under Siege movie that they were going to relaunch without Seagal, but with Cynthia Rothrock. You know what? That's what this movie was. Because it was also like that level of like third or fourth sequel in a Steven Seagal sequence of movies. Yeah.
Yeah, I was saying if like in the early 2000s you bought a DVD player and it came with 25 free DVDs.
Yeah.
This was one of them.
Yep. Yeah, my DVD player came with I know it came with 5 movies, but I don't remember. I know one of them was Lost in Space.
Oh wow, the one with Joey.
Yeah, yeah. I cannot for the life of me tell you what the other movies were, but I know for a fact that was one of the 5 movies it came with. Yeah,
Mhm.
you're right. This would have been one of those, but I wouldn't have gotten the one that only had 5 movies. This would have had to have been one of the ones with like the 25 movies, and this would have been like on one of those DVDs that had 2 sides. Like
Mhm.
that, this
Yep.
was one side of the 2 side.
Mhm.
Yep.
And the other side is Battleship.
Oh,
Battleship, Jesus.
I have not seen that, but from what I understand,
It is also bad.
yep.
Yes, it is as militarily accurate as this one.
Oh
Or,
boy.
It's just a lot of shit in this movie that didn't make any sense.
mm, mm,
But then the awkward thing is there's a lot of dialogue in the movie that's like these aren't these are reasonable things to say, but the rest of the movie makes what you're saying very stupid.
mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. And I found myself during only one sequence of this movie being my disbelief was suspended enough that I believed what the actor on screen was doing, they were physically capable of doing.
Are you
Like, and
saying
it was a
only
stretch.
once?
It
Yeah.
only once, and it was a stretch, but it was like the struggle looked real. There was probably wire work involved, but it was that sequence at the end when she's jumping from bar to bar one-handed. Like that was the struggle looked real. At no point did any struggle at any other time in this movie look real when she is physically with 2 feet planted on the floor just throwing dudes across the room. And I'm like,
Mhm.
now when later in that same sequence the dude threw her across the room the exact same way, like I kind of believed that because he was a giant over her.
Mhm. I think there's a bit where she fires a shotgun that makes her slide across the floor.
Halfway
That- that-
across the room,
I was like, I
yeah,
don't
that
feel
was
like.
Yep.
There was a lot of sulfuric acid, Chekhov's sulfuric acid,
Mhm.
Yep.
that then did nothing in the third act.
I like how it was melting the gun but not the floor.
Or the
Right.
person, or the
Yeah.
other
Oh,
items in it.
well, she did throw the card key into it,
Uh-huh. And that melted
and that
for
melted.
reasons.
Yeah, it was a very specific mix of sulfuric acid.
It
That
Yeah.
only it'll only melt MacGuffins.
yes, yes, only the things that we want it to melt.
Mhm.
I
Oh, but it was also very useful when it splashed on her shirt, so she could get in her tank top.
Yeah. See them guns.
Yeah,
uh-huh.
I mean, she had some guns.
guns
She
and
did have
headlights.
some guns.
Mhm.
Uh so just I don't know, the entire premise of this movie is just very dumb.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
It's just very dumb. It
yep,
starts dumb, it doesn't improve, and then it ends dumb.
yep.
Okay. So, I hate to try to break it down. Which premise part is the dumb? Because there's lots in
There's
the
many.
setup.
There's many.
Is the dumb premise that our missile defense system is just 2 things,
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That's problem number one.
and that one of those things is an oil rig?
Yep.
Mhm.
That's
That
the
is
second one.
apparently at maximum speed. No one can get to it within an hour.
90 minutes.
Right. Because the movie was a tight 90.
It was a tight 90.
That's the one blessing of this movie was that it was not incredibly long.
Was it that you could steal nuclear, like 16 nuclear missiles
16 nuclear missiles.
and then hold them for a few hours?
Yeah. In
That was
Soviet
also
Union.
dumb.
I mean, it was
Uh,
Russia. It was Russia, so. All right.
What does that mean?
I don't know. But that's where they stole them from, right?
right? And Russia's like,
mean-
well, they're gone now. Not
Yeah.
our problem. Good luck.
Guess we're gonna drink more vodka now.
Yeah.
You know what? They're not shooting them at us, so what do we have to fucking worry about?
So many of those premises were dumb.
Was it that the janitors weren't well vetted? I also don't know how. I don't actually know how stuff works in the military.
Yeah,
Me neither.
I don't
But
see that there are civilian janitors in this.
but also the main guy isn't a civilian.
No.
So they hired him as a janitor with all of this like military psyops experience, and they're like, well, this guy is actually dangerous, like because he's crazy.
Yeah, that
So
was
let's
another.
hire him as a janitor on
Well,
our missile rig.
And
he might have wrote Larry Kessel on his application,
Oh,
so they didn't know.
So-
who it was.
so also a billionaire's son just goes into the military to be in psyops for
Mhm.
reasons.
uh-huh. And then does this entire thing for the money?
Yeah,
What has happened?
I did appreciate that they actually called out how stupid it was within the story. You're telling me this is because of daddy issues? Like, there were moments in this where like the writing was very self-aware.
Mhm.
That was one.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I did like it that there's like a 1 minute establishing shot of this control room, which also right kind of a ballsy move to do an action movie and a bottle episode at the same time, right? I'm like, okay,
The action bottle.
right, an action bottle, but in our like 1 minute establishing shot of this control room, I'm like, okay, I can see these things all coming into play. Oh, look at these human suits. Look at this stand-up glass panel for no reason. I know what's going to happen with these things.
Mm-hmm. Why do we have those? What is their purpose? Why in this sealed room do we have many thin hatches?
Right? And it seems easy to get to the roof hatch. The floor hatch, I get it. Only your one ninja guy can make it. But the roof hatch, it seems like anyone could have gotten there.
Like quickly.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man.
And how exactly did that guy get up the hatch?
The
Like, I
same
know
way
she-
she did.
I know she does, but there's no ladder going down.
Mhm. And it wasn't open when he
Well,
popped
he
in.
shoots it open somehow, but like they never show you the transition from the like bars underneath to the actual thing.
Uh-huh.
And like, so one of two things has to happen.
Yeah.
Like the metal at that point is just like an inch thick. So like you can swing yourself up into it, which makes no sense. Or there's another ladder down there, which also makes no sense because you never see it.
Mhm.
And like, you know, multiple people jump out of the thing at various points.
Yeah.
Why did that one dude go down there to do the thing? Why was that guy not just sitting in the safe control room because he sucked?
These
Yeah, I
are
don't
great
know.
questions.
Why
wanna
did
know-
he stay in the room where he was closing the valves when he knew that that guy was just going to kill him and reopen the valves?
Why
Should've
was
put some
the
acid on it?
why was the army the one in charge of the oil rig and not the navy? Like that was the first question I had. Well, not the first, but it was among the first.
I guess I was also under the impression, and I know nothing about the military, but that like everyone had some guns. Did you not get a gun like all the time?
Not if you're just in an office.
But they're not in an office. They're a highly secure nuclear deterrence system.
Right. I guess I wouldn't expect my army dentist to have a gun.
Right.
I don't know. I guess this seems like a pretty important place. He's like, I need you to bring your sidearm. And no one else has one. Just you.
But why are there no guns in the room?
There was a shotgun.
There was the shotgun that
There was
didn't work.
a single shot shotgun. Well, who knows when this has been tested last?
I was waiting for it to pay off. I said,
Yeah.
well, shoot, I'll blow up in your face if you try. I was waiting for that.
I was waiting for somebody to pick it up and try to shoot her, and then it blow up in their face. That'd have been a nice payoff.
I bet that was on the cutting room floor.
Would it have been a nice payoff? I'm not sure.
Hey, I think that both those leads, Elsa Pataki and Luke Bracey, they did as much as they could with what was on the page.
I don't know. I think she's a terrible actress.
Oh, you didn't like her?
No, I thought she was terrible.
Oh, I thought she was all right. I was staring at her arms.
Dem guns.
Her guns were the leads.
Right?
Okay.
She could have thrown me because that'd be the.
All right. So this is the nuclear defense we have against Russian nuclear warheads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A Russian submarine has been cruising around the oil rig for the last couple weeks, and they send no one out there to deal with that situation.
Well, that's even worse, right? Because they say we keep chasing off. One of our subs keeps chasing them off, and they come back. I'm like, well, how's that sub more than 90 minutes away?
Yeah, like what?
Right.
What is going on? They're poking around the nuclear defense thing we have for their country.
You would have thought that there was anything nearby. I mean,
literally anything.
within the last week and a half, I guess, give or take, I saw 2 military movies. I saw this and I saw Top Gun, the new Top Gun. And
About the same, or
no.
Why is it so far out in the ocean?
to get closer to those Russians?
Yeah.
What? It was clearly 100% effective all the time. So, like, why does it have to be so far out in the ocean?
Why isn't it like on Alaska or not on Hawaii?
Because it's baffling. The window to shoot down the missiles goes north. So it's like the narrowest part of the thing. Why would you not have it so it like points at Russia? What are we doing? What is this?
I don't know. This movie feels like War Games lied to me.
Turn your goddamn key, sir.
Why did they stop cutting through the door?
That's a great question. Well, because they had the guy inside. They were just waiting for him to wake up. It was all a red herring.
Then why did they cut through the first door to begin with?
So that they don't realize that Beeve's the traitor.
Yeah. Well, that guy was always the traitor.
And and so obviously the traitor. And Beeve also though brought the solution, the final solution to the. Oh no, I heard it as soon as I said. And I mean, it's been a while since I did computer stuff. But I feel like you just grab something under a console, you plug some shit together, it installs what you need to launch missiles. That seems like the way the military would set that up.
Like exactly. You have a fully somewhat secured control room, but you can just plug a thing into a port on the top of the roof, like the publicly accessible top of the roof, and fuck it, we're good to go.
Right? That seems like Beeve could have grabbed that at any time. And it's gone and just launched all the missiles, the deterrent missiles first.
Yeah.
It also seems like pouring acid on those missiles would also have been a way to disable this. I mean, I don't want to troubleshoot the terrorist plan, but they could have had some. They killed everyone else immediately, but they want to chat with JJ for a bit.
Yeah.
So unnecessary.
Beef's even like, hey, I told you to just kill her. Like, what are we doing here? I told you this would be a problem.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
How did they know? I only found out last night. We knew for 72 hours that you were going to be assigned here. What?
Okay.
What is happening?
How many people in high-level positions are actually in this terrorist group?
Right?
Yeah, like, what does this mean for the world?
It's Hydra.
Because there's like a lot of people involved in this very elaborate plan.
Oh, you know who's not involved in it? Thor. He's busy
He was-
selling TVs.
He was the best part of the movie.
You know what? Those scenes with him, they took me out of the terrible parts of this movie. Like this movie had a level, and I was okay with just the ride of the level of this movie. Then he fucking showed up, and I'm like, well, this breaks the whole flow of this tragedy.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
I was perfectly fine with where we were and enjoying the terrible ride that I was on.
Right.
Then it's like, oh wait, you mean something could be better? Well, fuck, this whole movie sucks then.
Yeah.
Like if they would have just left him out, I kind of would have been okay with it. And then what was with the weird gratuitous shot of St. Louis?
Like in a bizarrely focused shot that does not work with the direction of the arch.
No.
You can't have a picnic with the arch at that angle because that's water or a building.
Weird.
Or maybe a highway. Probably a highway.
I need to look at it again because I'm not sure. With the new Earth feature that they have behind it, it might where like they built over the highway.
The Earth feature.
It's like a overpass thing.
They built like an overpass, like a green space overpass over
The
44.
a greenway, a trestle.
No,
55.
it's
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Oh, this so that you can walk from the city into the.
yeah.
I gotta zoom in on this now. Apparently, terrain, traffic, satellite. Here we go. All right,
I need to find that in the movie. I really don't want to though.
Don't.
When is it happening? Oh,
I don't.
Oh
remember.
yeah, they did. Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
They extended that whole park out.
Yeah, because
I still don't think
for a
you can
while
eat-
Doug worked in part of that area.
I'm still not sure you can do it at that angle.
Oh,
Because
gosh.
it's like turned at a weird angle.
I don't know. I'd have to see the.
You know what I did like about the movie? I liked that we didn't stop the nuclear missiles at 1 second the first time,
mhm.
and then I was like, thank fucking Christ we're not doing this dumb bullshit. And then, don't worry, they came back and got me later.
With a third of a second left.
Uh-huh. So even the things I appreciated about the movie, they took from me. Highway robbery.
Trying to find the St. Louis shot.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it too, but I don't know where it's at in the.
Is it when all the missiles are going? Do we have some like Panic in the Street shots or something? Oh gosh, remember when she and
there's
Headless
New York City.
she and Headless Beaver fall into the water, but only she makes it to the water?
Yes.
That made me sad.
Why did Beaver not just shoot her? He even earlier is like, you
Right?
should have just shot her.
We're at about the 41-minute mark. They're showing something from New York City where the emergency broadcast system all kicks over.
Mm-hmm. But no one in St. Louis is apparently.
There's Los
watching
Angeles.
TV.
So there's New York City, there's Los Angeles, and that's where we see Thor.
Mm-hmm.
Where like he's legit, like full on Thor, because he's got the beard and the scraggly hair. And,
Yeah, I do want to believe that that's what Fat Thor did for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, like Avengers 2, like.
selling TVs.
Mm-hmm.
There's St. Louis. Oh, let's see. Where is that?
Where are you in the timestamp?
It is at. I've got 55 minutes and 41 seconds left. Yeah, that's not. That is like either in the water
Yep.
or it is like where the casino, past where the casino is on the other side of Laclede's Landing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
It's
it
farther
makes no
away.
sense. It makes no sense.
No.
Why was
Like-
there a sexual assault plot in the movie? Literally no purpose for this.
I couldn't answer these questions.
It's because that's how they knew that she was coming back. And that's why nobody liked her.
But we don't see anybody.
But you see the results of nobody liking her.
But
Like
we don't
the paint-
see anyone actively not liking her.
Beaver?
Beaver didn't like her. Everybody. Then there was a bunch of people that pitied her because of what happened. Then there was that weird shot of her email that looked like somebody sent her shitty email. Then it was a series of responses to that email,
Mm-hmm.
which was really weird.
All right, my guess is looking at the St. Louis thing, right? It looks like they just inserted the arch into a park in LA.
Yep. Yeah, this is totally like a composite thing going on here.
Weird. What a weird choice.
Also, why would you bother nuking St. Louis?
Not St. Louis specifically, but
Oh, it was St. Louis.
oh, I understand. I understand that, but so in the late '80s, during the when I was in high school, like we like ran the numbers, because this was like the height of the cold. Like we were still deep in the Cold War, and like Russia was going to nuke us into oblivion, and we were going to nuke them into oblivion. So we were like running the numbers.
I got a movie for you
Yeah,
called Interceptor.
Yeah. Turns out, if we had that technology, we wouldn't have been worried about it. But like there were people at the time that what was that name of that goddamn movie?
Red Dawn?
The Day After.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
I was hoping it was Red Dawn.
No, it's not Red Dawn. Red Dawn has very little. I mean, it does have some nukes in it, but in The Day After, that's like where the nuclear holocaust happens, or Day After Tomorrow.
Right. And they talk about Knob Noster.
Yeah, because that's actually one of the nuke sites. Yeah, I used to live like right by there when I was an infant. But because we lived with some, there was a bunch of us military kids in the same school as a bunch of civilian kids, and the civilian kids were like, "Yeah, that's going to happen, but we're fine." I'm like, you realize that we live within like where we're going to school right now is within like 5 miles of headquarters, strategic air command, tactical air command, and military airlift. Like, Scott Air Force Base is a major target. Like, the St. Louis area would be just a crater because of that.
You
So
got
not St. Louis
16
itself.
nukes, and you're telling me that's in the top 16 targets in the
No.
country? Okay, all right.
No, actually, Scott Air Force Base might be,
But
but
they're not targeting because it's not Russia targeting. It's
No.
weird terrorists.
yeah, it's
We're
weird
just wanting to
terrorists.
hit civilian
So
populations.
so they're going to hit civilian targets. So it's going to be Chicago, LA, New York,
Mhm.
DC, Dallas.
Sure.
Top 20 populated cities in the United States.
Let's do
Top 20 population.
Let's see how many of them I'm going to hit.
Yeah. We'll make a game of it.
Let's make a game of this. All right. I'll let you pull the list.
I got it.
All right. So the easy big three are New York, LA, and Chicago.
You know the order?
I want to go with that order.
Yeah, good. That's the right order.
Okay. Let's add to that. I'm gonna the order's not gonna flow
Sure,
from
sure.
here.
Yeah.
Let's go Dallas.
Okay.
Let's go.
That's number 9.
All right. Atlanta.
Atlanta.
I would put Atlanta.
Is Atlanta
there.
not there?
Atlanta's not in the top 20.
Really? Okay. Wow. DC. Is DC not?
Yeah. Okay. That's number 20.
Okay. Seattle.
Atlanta is 36, by the way.
Really? Okay.
Yep. Seattle is 18.
Okay. San Diego.
8.
Okay. This is, I don't know. Atlanta just seemed like such a sure shot that my worldview is shaken now. So I'm just going to start shooting in the dark. Cleveland and Cincinnati.
Neither of those are on.
All
there.
right. Well,
I'll give you a solid hint.
Houston.
There are 5 cities from one state on this list.
Oh,
Houston is number 4, by the way.
okay. Austin.
Austin is number 10.
Is that one state Texas?
That one state is Texas.
Okay. So I've got 3 from Texas. Are they counting Fort Worth separate from Dallas?
They are counting Fort
Oh,
Worth
wow. That's weird to me.
But that
Little
means
suburb.
that Dallas and Fort Worth have a combined population size of some massive number.
Yeah,
like
it's a big number.
3 million.
St. Louis? Is St. Louis on there?
No.
I didn't think so.
St. Louis City is real small.
Yeah. Portland. I would have picked Portland as a target as this terrorist just because it's on the West Coast and you don't have to worry about shooting it over as much of the country.
Portland is not it.
Yeah,
St. Louis is number 72 on this list.
All right.
I mean, there's got to be more California cities, right? In Northern California.
There are 3 California cities.
San Francisco.
4 California cities.
San Francisco was the one I was forgetting.
17.
There's
There's one more California city, by the way. Bigger than San Francisco.
Oh, is it? Do you know the way to that city?
San Jose. Really?
Mm-hmm. You forget one of the other really big ones.
Las Vegas.
Nope.
No.
Las Vegas not on here.
But you don't get to count the tourists.
Yeah. I would have targeted that one though, because you go for the soft targets.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the soft targets. You go there, you go Orlando.
Yeah.
Just to fuck with people.
Whew. Right? As a terrorist, I think.
As a terrorist, yeah.
Right.
Putting my terrorist hat on. Yeah, this whole podcast is going to get us visits from the CIA now, by the way.
CIA has got better things to do with their time.
They do. If they've ever watched any of this podcast,
Mm-hmm.
they stopped a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, maybe they loved this movie.
That could be it.
Oh.
Well, but this was also an Australian movie, right?
Yeah.
The author, somebody pointed out in a comment that they love the author. So I looked up the author, and it's an Australian author.
Mm-hmm.
I have not heard of this person or any of his books.
He's written a bunch of books.
Yeah.
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 The trivia thing says that like they're almost all the same format. That like one person has to defend something with a ragtag group of something, and that they almost all resolve with like a countdown timer that only gets saved under the 1 second mark. And that sounds fucking terrible.
I am with you.
And more so in a book.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's not how tension works.
Well,
Yeah.
I did think that this movie was going to pull the trigger and kill her dad, but nope.
Yeah, that was actually weird. That
Mm-hmm. It was not any weirder than his long ass speech where he's like, this country is racist and this country is sexist, so I'm gonna nuke 16 cities and that's gonna solve the problems.
that speech would have come so much better from anyone other than the whitest of the whitest of young white men, of young rich white men who were in the military, like that.
Who was planning on nuking 16 cities?
Mm-hmm.
Bro, what are
Yep.
you doing?
Yep.
What exactly is the plan here?
I think the plan was he was really trying to score with her.
That's a
It
long
was.
game. It was a 6-year plan.
Hey, when you're celibate that long,
What is happening?
when you've
What?
chosen to be celibate that long,
What is going
because
on?
because women don't like men like you,
Oh, okay. All right, I see what's going on now.
Mhm.
then yeah, he could afford to play that long game.
But he seems so proud.
The problem is for that to have been the plan, he needs to look a lot more like me than the picture of masculinity that dude was. Because that was a handsome dude.
Straight up Chad.
Yeah.
Mhm. He brought up his dad so many times, and we never see the dad.
Yeah. Like that would have
Although,
been kind of hilarious if his dad was in the room with the president.
we haven't talked about the worst thing that happened in this movie.
14%?
14% was the worst thing that happened in the movie. We gotta consult our game theory strategist. What the fuck? He says 14% chance of success. What? I calculated 14%. How? What did you do exactly to calculate 14%?
I
Rolled
loved
2d10?
I love that. I love that fucking ending too. Huh. 14%. Like they
God
bothered to
Christ.
call back to that.
You knew they were gonna. And somebody, either the author or the screenwriter, is like, this is gonna land really well.
Yeah.
Someone was super proud of that entire sequence.
This is like that whole thing was like when is it Rothfuss in his novels when like he's clearly talking about chemistry and then you go back and look and like, oh yeah, he was a chemist. Yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
I could read that in this fantasy novel. I could tell by him talking about chemistry in this fucking fantasy novel that he's a chemist. Yeah.
Listen, what you need to know is that Kvothe learns how to fuck women from a fuck goddess. Because that's who he is.
I mean, that's
Fuck
who he,
goddess trained.
I feel like that's just what he claims. He's just like putting that out there.
I could barely make it through that first book.
What?
Oh no, I
could
really liked the book.
Barely make it through that first book.
Oh my gosh.
I think they were both great.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a shame we're never going to get a third book, but I wish they just hired
was-
James S.A. Corey to finish it.
It was not for me. It was just not for me.
I mean, I guess I could understand the criticism of it being kind of like Harry Potter with more student loans, but like I loved all of it, like every bit I was into.
Yeah.
I am also very sad about the amount of time it has taken. It makes me feel like he lost whatever magic he had and is desperately trying to reclaim it, like some other authors have done the same thing.
It feels like he spent some time on the internet and then read a bunch of fan theories, and he's
Yeah.
like, "Oh shit, this is way better than what I had planned." But no, I can't do it because these are like better than what I was gonna do. Oh no.
Right. Or maybe that it's popular now. Editors are giving him notes.
That very well could be.
That's what I thought happened to the Game of Thrones.
Or Gentlemen Bastards.
Well, hopefully the Interceptor sequel will.
Oh,
I mean,
come
we got to get the
quickly
next installment in the Interceptor cinematic universe.
Yes.
This one takes place in
Interceptor.
Cuba. Costa Rica's gonna launch some nukes. Do what now?
Maybe they intercept something
oh.
different. That'd be even better.
Interceptor 2, Intraceptor.
Nice.
It's gonna stop nukes that are launched from within the. They're inside the country.
Nice. Maybe it'll Fantastic Voyage it, and they'll have to like intercept like
Ooh.
radiation therapy that is going to kill some.
Yeah.
Also, okay, so the missiles that are going to New York,
Yeah.
they're gonna be flying for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Like a long time.
Right.
Do we
Yep.
not have any missile defense inside the country?
Or on the East Coast.
Like, what are we just like? What are we doing? It's like, oh, we'll just put it near Russia. That's good enough. Because like this country has a problem spending massive amounts of money on military installations. Like, I was frustrated most with this movie because I watched it in my living room while I wasn't playing a computer game.
Oh.
And while I was watching it, I was like, shit, I could be doing something I enjoyed instead of watching this movie.
Mm-hmm. The opportunity cost of this movie was too high.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't think its actual production cost was high.
It wasn't.
It could not have been.
Right? Bottle movie.
So we were watching last night's episode of Superman and Lois. And like we were commenting on one of the sequences about how was it that or was it something? We were watching something and it was like, man, the green screen in this is really bad. Like really terrible. And I said something to the effect that, yeah, like the thing is that Netflix movie that I watched in reference to this, like Superman and Lois looks like it has a bigger special effects budget than this movie did.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
but does it
just
have
all
acid?
Ooh, not in last night's episode.
What the shit was in that pipe? What is this, like a pipe of steam?
Uh-huh.
Going where and why?
Well, those computers are steam powered. Gabe
Yeah,
Newell wanted product placement in the movie.
Christ.
And then, so she fixes that pipe with that expanding foam, which seems like that would block the steam too.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Foam in a woman's throat.
Yep.
Which
Yeah.
I do believe, could cut off someone's air and put them down. I don't think you could cough it up though.
Yeah, I don't.
Because it
I'm not
expands.
sure.
I used to work for a chemical foam manufacturer.
What?
Uh-huh. And so one of their products is this stuff called Polcrete.
Perfect.
Yeah. So, normally they cement telephone poles into the ground.
Mm-hmm.
But,
that's not what I'm thinking about.
No.
So, but they've got all this stuff where it's like, that's labor intensive, and then with the concrete, like you got to keep it wet and whatever. So
Sure.
they've got like these specialized guns. So like the foam is a combination of an isocyanate and a polypropyl mixture in a certain ratio.
It's like
If you say
I'm
so.
reading
Yeah.
Name of the Wind all over again.
So anyway, so like during hurricane season or whatever in Texas, like when they need to put the poles back up, it's a ton easier for them to just have like a tanker truck with these 2 tanks on it, and then like this specialized gun that mixes the shit up. So they set the pole and then they spray it in there, and then the foam expands into the dirt. And you're right, the shit does not come up. Like I saw a bunch of their testing videos where they've got like these bulldozers and shit trying to pull these telephone poles out of it. Just
Wow.
rips up the earth. Some of the
Right.
poles snap.
I feel like that is the point of such things.
Mm-hmm.
But that fight scene just kept going.
It just kept going. And then she shot that chick like 6 times.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And what the fuck was up with the Russian sub-captain tipping his hat to her?
You know what? I was
What?
actually okay with that. Of all the
What?
things, I was okay with that.
Okay, so
I
they
mean, the
didn't
headcanon for that is that the Russians were like, yeah, we didn't want to start a nuclear war either. We just took that asshole's money.
But the implication here is that they're also part of the terrorist group. Not actually the Russian people.
Were they part of the terrorist group, or were they just paid to get him out of there? I kind of felt like they were just paid to get him out of there. Like they were just a taxi service at that point.
Okay, if we're going to do this surprise attack, why is the submarine floating around this goddamn installation? It's like, oh, we're on high alert because there's a Russian sub in the area. What? Why are you like this?
Mm-hmm.
Why does someone have to push the button to launch this system? Why is it not automated?
So I want to speak for just a moment about how we got here. How specifically we got to watching this movie.
How did we get to watching this movie?
So there's an
Because
article.
I don't remember.
Okay, so there's an article that looks like it's on comicbook.com. At least that's where I'm seeing it at the moment. And the title of the article is Director of #1 Netflix movie, quote, just as confused as everyone else, unquote, by its success. This article was dated June 12th.
I typed in comic book, and that is the suggested link.
All right, well, there you go.
Nice.
Why is that?
Because the internet listens to us all the time.
Oh
ever.
my god, I hate it.
So the second paragraph of this. Now, first, actually, no, I'll get to that in a second. The second paragraph of this is mostly a quote that this guy told Variety, and the quote is, "It's blown me away. I was hoping to sneak into the top 10 on Netflix, but coming in at #1 everywhere? I don't think anybody else was expecting it to take the world by storm. I'm just as confused as everybody else."
Listen, I'm looking this up, and you know this has to be a white dude. Because
Oh, yeah.
no one else on the planet has just this deep misunderstanding of their own mediocrity.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
hoping to sneak into the top 10 on Netflix. Bro, did you watch the movie you produced?
Okay, but Netflix put some weird shit in the top 10 when people start watching it. What he was probably hoping for was that word would get out that there was a Chris Hemsworth cameo, and all the Chris Hemsworth fangirls would want to check this movie out to see Thor. I'm guessing that was his thought. But so the second paragraph goes on to explain the current position as of June 12th on Rotten Tomatoes, which is a 43% critic score and a 20% audience score. So out of curiosity, I looked up the current Rotten Tomato scores, and this is interesting First, when I watched this movie yesterday, because I knew that it was number one on Netflix, the first place I went was to the top 10 trending on Netflix. This movie was not there.
Okay.
I had to search for the movie to find it. So currently, as of right now on Netflix, the tomato meter is at 45%. It is 2% more than it
What is
was
going
before.
on?
The audience score is 19%. The audience score has dropped a percentage. Yeah.
Okay, so on that comicbook.com site, underneath
Yeah.
this article, if you read the comments, I think it's important to note that Babu Freak says, "Good God, this was an epic disaster." Yay!
We're
Fucking
getting more Babu Freak.
God, you know what? If Taika puts Babu Freak in his movie, I am 100% in. And you know how much I hate Star Wars that can't not reference existing Star Wars bullshit.
All right,
So I
so
found a. Oh, go ahead.
let me just read from a couple of the critics' reviews that are, because the critics' reviews on Rotten Tomatoes, they just take a snippet from them in their listing. So one of them is Interceptor is a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad movie. It's as dull as watching Eisted fodder while sober and as nuanced as a pantomime populated with ex-neighbor stars.
Another comment on the comic book site is from my wife, Hot Beehole.
Seems insightful.
You know, that comment's gonna be gold.
Had a lot of fun with my wife making fun of the entire movie. her hot beehole.
Well, you know.
Also, somebody.
Here's a
username
review
once
from
that was-
Common Sense Media.
that was-
A
oh boy, here we go.
This is not a splat, yet a tomato. So this is actually one of the positive reviews.
Sure.
This suspenseful action film gets bogged down by some convoluted character motives, but the
Okay,
formula works, and Pataki is credible as a Die-Hard style hero.
Oh yeah. Come out to the floating platform, have a few drinks.
Here's another. That was a 3 out of 5 review. Here is a B- review from the playlist.
B-. That's a public school grading system.
Interceptor is about putting on a show, and Pataki has the muscular charisma to carry it.
Ew.
I agree with that.
Don't describe it like that, though. That's gross.
Your old strength plus
Muscular
charisma.
charisma.
Oh my god!
Oh.
All right, so this is from Eric Childress of the Movie Madness podcast. This is a not positive review. This is a 1.5 out of 4.
Mm-hmm.
Took a little time to realize this wasn't a parody of any kind and was just the sort of low-rent, poorly acted, dumb attempts to recreate a cinematic experience in a straight-to-video market.
He thought it was Police Academy at first.
Yeah.
And then later realized.
Jesus.
Oh my. The Sydney Morning Herald. Parts of it, and this is a 3.5 out of 5, making it a positive review. Parts of it are laughably silly, but that's intentional. It's not quite a satire, having some serious things to say, but mostly it's a romp. A high-energy, breathless American market action thriller with up-to-date politics.
Up-to-date politics. What?
Wow.
This movie's woke as hell.
Yeah. The woke agenda. This is the future liberals want. 16 nuked cities. You know why? Because racism.
Oh, here we go. Robert Levin of Newsday. 0 out of 4. Please do not waste your time.
So
That's all it says.
Robert's a man of few words, but you know what? They're all right on the money.
I'm gonna go look at the full review on this because I liked that snippet.
Well, speaking of wasted time, I found the website that tracks how the things are in the top 10
Oh,
for
okay.
Netflix. And Interceptor, in its first week in the top 10, when it hit number 1, was viewed for 35.6 million hours. The third movie down is Amazing Spider-Man at 13.5. So about 3 times more viewers for Interceptor than Amazing Spider-Man
That week.
And in the second week, Interceptor was up to 40 million, but it still came in number 2 because Hustle got 84.5 million hours of view time.
What else were we watching that week that it became number 1 with 30 million hours? There must have been something else going on that week. I don't know.
So that was May 30th through June 5th.
Oof.
Oh, were we back in theaters to watch Morbius a second time?
I think we were.
I think
we were.
Just such a critical misunderstanding of the internet. Lots of people are talking about Morbius. Got to get it back in the theater so they can get a second chance to see it.
But there are memes.
Yeah.
So that must be.
Word of mouth on Morbius is really hitting that high.
My kids told me there were memes about it. So
My kids told me it was Morbid time. Jesus fucking Christ. Why is it always like this? Why does this place have to be like this?
Gosh, in its second week on the top 10, so Hustle dominated number 1, then Intercepted. Number 3 is Chicken Hair and the Hamster of Darkness.
That
9.8 million hours of viewing.
Wow. I don't even know what that is.
Nor do I. And Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol and Deep Impact and Rambo Last Blood all hit the list. Maybe after seeing Interceptor, they wanted to go see some more. Ghost Protocol.
I mean, I actually like Ghost Protocol.
Sure.
You know what I watched?
I like those Mission Impossible movies.
I do too.
Hey, I know we mentioned Rescue Rangers, but seeing the list for last week reminded me when I went to go watch Interceptor, the Netflix thing that automatically started playing was for a movie called Spiderhead.
Oh yeah, with Chris Hemsworth.
Also with Chris Hemsworth. Mm-hmm. It looks real weird.
It does look real weird. I do want to see it a lot.
I'd be down for that as a movie to watch and talk about.
Or we could just watch that instead.
Yeah,
I'm fine with that.
Oh, it's got Miles Teller.
Mm-hmm.
I've liked the last couple of things I've seen Miles Teller in.
That guy looks like a thumb.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen, Mitch, I know you had mentioned seeing it. Have you seen the new Top Gun yet?
No.
Okay.
It is a thing I want to go see. I kind of want my kid to watch the first Top Gun.
Sure.
Before we go check it out.
Yep.
Because I remember watching Top Gun when I was a kid and just being like, I was beside myself with grief over Goose.
Yeah. If you want anyone to watch this movie, unless they're really up on the pop culture of Top Gun, they really need to see the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it is another Top Gun movie.
Oh, and this dude's in that movie too, right?
Yes.
Miles Teller.
Miles Teller.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah. And it's not a spoiler or anything. That's Goose's son. He plays Goose's son in the movie. And with his mustache, like, he looks just like him.
Nice.
I last night or the night before I watched No Time to Die.
Yeah.
That movie is dreadful. What
loved it.
happened? What
I
happened?
liked it. I really liked it.
Mm.
This is the latest James Bond movie.
Yes.
Daniel Craig's last.
Mm.
I enjoyed it. I saw it in the theater. I liked it.
Mm.
I've been in for all of the Daniel Craig James Bond movies, though.
So have I, but like after Quantum of Solace on started to get real iffy.
You mean the first movie?
What?
Oh no, Casino Royale was the first movie.
Mm-hmm. And then I thought Quantum was like the third movie.
Was it? Yes, you're right. Yep.
Yeah, because as soon as they start doing the Spectre shit, like it starts getting real. That movie with Javier Bardem in it though was pretty goddamn good.
Yep.
Because Javier Bardem was choice.
Yeah, he always is.
Yeah.
Oh, guys, here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Spiderhead has a tomato meter of 41%.
Oh yes.
It is got less. It is less critically well reviewed than Interceptor is, but it has a higher audience score at 32%.
It does look real weird.
I know
Yeah.
nothing about it.
Um.
State of the art penitentiary.
Oh, that's not what I saw in the clip it showed me on Netflix. It seemed like it was a weird dating service.
Okay, all right. Okay. Everybody, hear me out about a movie we need to watch.
Mm-hmm.
If you've got Netflix open, do a search for RRR.
What?
Just
I don't have it.
RRR.
What
Look at the picture they're using for the cover,
I'm
and
opening
tell
it
me
now.
we don't need to watch this movie. It's an Indian movie.
Oh my!
Look at that.
It is.
Look at that guy.
3 hours and 5 minutes long.
Sure is.
Wow.
You know what? Here's the thing. Netflix is telling me that this is a 97% match.
I know, it's 94 for me. It looks amazing. I've
Yeah.
heard that it's incredible. Look, even this little preview animation, that ripped dude's getting chased by a wolf.
It's got a 94% audience score.
You know what? We're just gonna shift again.
Yeah, He's getting chased by a tiger now. The tiger and the wolf ran into it. Come on.
It's got a 90% tomato meter and a 94% audience score. You know what? I'm calling an audible. We're going to talk about RRR now.
The Netflix tags are explosive,
Slick,
visually striking.
I got that just from that picture.
Just from the picture.
Oh, it was filmed in IMAX.
Yeah.
Can I find RRR in an IMAX?
You know what? Road trip, boys.
Road trip to India. Here we go. Everyone pile in the car. RRR IMAX.
No.
What time's it, Marcus? No.
No, it was apparently in U.S. theaters in March.
Oh,
Drat. Because that one in Chesterfield.
This Indian chick I work with actually did recommend I watch this movie a couple weeks ago, and then I forgot about it.
Another one I'm really looking forward to that we're like 99% going to talk about is going to be Nope.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone in my family is 100% in on Nope.
Yep.
Now that I've searched for RRR, all of the hits on my front page are Indian movies now.
Perfect.
So I guess I just have to get really into this. A Mother's Rage. Oh, yes.
You know what? It just it's going to go right along with Ms. Marvel. Watching all these Indian movies.
She's not Indian.
I know. They
I
talk
have
about
not.
Bollywood movies.
Yeah, I haven't watched today's episode or the ending of Obi-Wan.
Mm.
But I bet nothing interesting happens in Obi-Wan.
Okay.
I have not watched either of these yet. I'm behind. And now there's Sparrow Academy or Umbrella
Yeah.
Academy 3.
Mm.
I'm
I am
midway
caught
through
up
the
on the
second
boys.
episode of the season of Umbrella Academy.
How is it?
It's good. It's fine. I don't know. It usually takes a bit to develop.
Oh, I'm current on the boys. Have you been to Reddit to read what people think of the boys?
No.
I do love that, like, all those fucking right wingers are like, wait a minute.
Are we the
Right?
baddies?
Are we the
Right? Oh,
No, I haven't been, but yeah, I'm surprised it took them this long.
Yeah. The Nazi character is named Stormfront. I don't get it. How do you not?
people like what I have to say. They just don't like the word Nazi. She was the best.
Oh, God. Aya Cash is great in everything.
She really
does.
is.
Mm-hmm.
She really is.
Oh, well.
All right. RRR next week.
Yep.
I'm in.
Locked in. I'm just going to have to find
Maybe this will
some
be
time.
a palate cleanser for Interceptor.
Mhm.
Here's hoping.
Did Interceptor hit any of the interesting, like, you know how Netflix is usually like 1 out of 3, like the acting, the story, or the visuals? I can't say that Interceptor hit any of them.
Mm-mm.
No, I can't either.
Fucking Interceptor.
This movie would have just been a straight to video.
Well, I mean, it's straight to stream.
There's been a lot better movies that were straight to stream though.
Okay, on the trivia, one of the pieces of trivia is that the dude who's the game theorist is dressed exactly like this analyst from The Rock.
Oh, please. Let's put this in a cinematic universe. These things are going to go together.
But
That's
why
his
would
son.
you, if you were going to put an amount of effort into this movie to hide like an Easter egg, why would you not put any effort into the movie in any other place?
Mm.
Like, it just seems like a weird thing to be ultra specific about. And also, The Rock, which, don't get me wrong, it's Nicolas Cage and a cinematic masterpiece, but, like, it's not like this seminal work that people are like, oh yeah, that's definitely a reference to The Rock. Basically, this movie ruined my week, is what I'm saying.
This movie would have been Under Siege 3, by the way. There were only 2 of them.
Only 2.
Sea territory.
No one beats me in the kitchen. I think it's an Under Siege quote. Is that right?
Probably.
Because Steven Seagal's a chef in the movie.
Yeah.
Under Siege, talking through doors.
That was my biggest problem with Ant-Man and Wasp. Is the only fight that Wasp wins is in the kitchen. And most of the rest of the movie, all she does is tell dudes that they're right.
I do not remember that movie at all.
Same.
It's very forgettable.
And hence, I forgot it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is the 30th anniversary of Under Siege 2.
Oh, come on, Tony. Today?
No,
Okay,
in October. In October, but it's 1992.
All right,
Nice.
Tony. What day in October?
12th.
October 12th. I'm putting it on my calendar. Under Siege anniversary.
Are we gonna talk about it? Under Siege
No.
2 on its anniversary?
I don't need to.
No, I think we should. Because that, you know what? That can be our post Archon discussion.
My post Archon is going to be difficult. I might have to fly to Alaska and then Hawaii because my parents are planning to go to Hawaii for their anniversary,
Oh.
and that's the only state my dad needs.
October 12th this year is a Wednesday.
It sure is. I know because I have this on my calendar now.
Yep.
Oh. What other were ill-advised sequels of that era? Speed 2?
Speed
Wait
2,
a minute.
Speedier.
What the fuck is happening today? Something's not right.
Is it that we're going to celebrate the anniversary of Under Siege?
I'm looking at the opening weekend. Oh, I'm sorry. This was Under Siege 1, not Under Siege 2. So this is the 30th anniversary of the first movie.
Oh, the first installment of the Under Siege cinematic universe.
Yes.
The USCU.
Yeah. I thought it was weird that they got Gary Busey, Tommy Lee Jones in a sequel.
I mean, they can also need money, Tony.
I mean, yeah, that's true. I do remember Erica Leniak jumping out of that cake, though.
I can honestly say I do not remember Under Siege as a movie.
I just remember her jumping out of the cake. But I'm pretty sure I had a poster of her in my room at one point.
Was it carved out of a stone tablet or?
Yeah. Dot
Nice.
matrix printer.
Mm-hmm. Fire up all the chisels.
We had it was made from, we had to print it on dot matrix like in 3 different strips that had to line them up.
Sure.
I hate it. I hate it.
They made such a satisfying sound, though.
They did. We when I worked at the bank, we had these giant printers that they had to have been 3 feet across, and they were like super high speed. They just ripped through, and they were just dot printers, and we would just go through paper so quickly on those things. It was ridiculous. We'd have to store stacks like this of data from our. It was so much paper.
Yeah, I remember when I worked at the hospital, that was one of the night shift operator jobs, is on the big green bar dot matrix printers. It would print reports. And you had to burst them through the burster and then deliver them to other places in the hospital. And after like a month of working there, I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm putting these reports on top of a printer. We're just going to like print things there differently. It's like this whole thing. Oh, it was a nightmare to work with those printers.
Yes, it was. I concur.
They made all the dust.
What the fuck is going on here? So I see this advertisement for what's next in the like future Star Wars state. Okay, so there's what is that? 11 TV shows, including like season 2 and season 3 of Bad Batch and Mandalorian, and then they have 6 movies. All right, but most of these movies don't have names.
Yeah.
Taika Waititi's movie Star Wars, Kevin Feige's movie Star Wars, Damon Lindelof movie Star Wars, Rian Johnson's trilogy Star Wars. What? Why are you announcing these movies if they don't even have fucking names?
Because they have to block out the dates. They block out the dates for the future so they can coordinate with other studios so that they're not overlapping. That's the way the movie industry is now.
Okay, but they don't have the movies don't even have names.
No.
It's
Well,
too
I'm
much.
excited to watch anything that Taika touches.
Yeah, that's
100.
yeah.
I'm 100 on that one.
Yeah.
But I have very little confidence in like the story beyond that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember if I shared this with you guys, but I saw a meme a week or so ago that was vampires, these hetero sex thing, sex gods, and Taika Waititi. Vampires are bisexual and morons, and it was vampires and like it was the same thing each time, and then it was superheroes, and it was Taika does Thor, and superheroes are bisexual and morons, and
Nice.
and then pirates.
Mm-hmm.
Yep,
So if that's what we get for Star Wars, I'm still in.
sure.
Jedi, bisexual morons.
You know what? I don't even need to see more Jedi. Let's just do it with stormtroopers.
I mean, if they hold their lightsabers up as if it was Spaceballs and they just touch tips.
All right. Okay. All right. I'm there.
Just a light graze.
Just a light graze.
Or you know what? Hear me out.
Right.
It's after Order 66.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a bunch of clone troopers doing that.
Sure.
They pick up the
They pick up the
lightsabers,
lightsabers. We're Jedi.
and then they take off their masks, and they're all the same person.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're bisexual.
Right.
And then there's like this whole monologue about how
If they
it's
had
not
an
even
orgy,
bisexual. It's not even
masturbate.
bisexual. It's just masturbation.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're clones.
Yeah.
But they were only trained for military stuff. So they're like, let's make some more clones together because they don't know how it works.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Do we put our butts together? Is that how this works?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Just
Nailed it.
passing a poo back and forth for eternity.
Back and forth forever.
What was that movie? That was a strange film.
You know what? I don't know, but Paul Lyons, who's part of our gaming group, brought that up. 10 years ago?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and he had this whole story about it,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't quite understand the whole thing at the time, but it was like he was very invested in that story.
I haven't talked to that dude in so long, and he lives like 2 streets over from me.
I got nothing else.
No, we
me
did it.
neither.
We explored everything wrong with this movie.
I think so.
And, yeah.
Oh, you know what? There is one thing we did not mention. How is someone that clearly doesn't speak English as a first language end up in that high a position in the U.S. military? That was just something that didn't.
Which character are we talking about?
Come on, JJ.
Chick? Her. Yeah, it did. It felt like she could. It felt like English was a second language.
Well, she grew up on an army base in Spain, according to the chatty person who greets her, and apparently gets gassed and shot in the head shortly thereafter.
Yeah, but the thing is when you grow up on a military base, you're just around other English speakers.
Mm-hmm. But not in the fantasy world of an Australian YA author.
Okay.
Is this YA?
Oh, I don't know. Sorry, I just assumed he was YA because of how many books he wrote, but maybe not.
I just figured he was one of those military wankers that,
You know what?
because they write a lot of books also.
Mhm. Well, I've always heard
Freedom
that there's a lot of cocaine in Australia.
Oh,
I mean, you probably need it to run away from all the animals that are trying to kill you.
yeah.
Right.
There's a lot of things trying to kill you.
Right.
You just need to make sure the animals don't get your cocaine, because then they'll never stop.
Yeah. They go hard there.
Yep. Yep. I've learned a lot about cocaine in the last couple of weeks. I've listened to the audiobooks I Want My MTV, which is about the history of MTV as told through interview clips, which is really great. If you're at all interested in anything of that MTV, like the MTV when it played music video era. And then I started listening to him, and I think I'm about halfway through My Appetite for Destruction, the autobiography of Steven Adler from Guns N' Roses. And he talks
Okay.
about a lot of
Alright.
drugs. He talks about a lot of drugs. The audiobook is so weird though, because like he's not the one that reads it, but the guy who is talks like this through the
gravel
whole
voice.
book. It's not even gravel voice. It's like, hey man voice.
Oh Jesus!
Yeah. Yeah. But I'm in. It's ridiculous. He talks about just how he's just constantly scoring tail. Like that's just like, yeah, it was after concert, so of course I was banging this chick.
Nice.
And I grew up in I was born in the 60s, so like I was 13 and this chick, she was like 36, and I was like, I went for it, man. What is happening? Yep. So I've learned a lot about cocaine in the last couple of weeks from these things.
I gave cocaine to rats in grad school.
You did?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
They enjoyed it.
I bet.
We did studies with cocaine and meth and nicotine. And then my research was on salvia, a hallucinogen.
So what kind of interesting findings did you have out of that?
Out of which study?
Yeah, like any of it. Like I'm just now I'm just blanket curious about this entire thing. Like I will probably ask a lot of questions tomorrow night because I'm going to come up with more questions between now and then.
Well, we did one with adolescent rats, and we gave them meth or nicotine or nothing, and we found out that the boys responded way more to the meth than the girls, and the female rats responded way more to the nicotine, which supports other theories that adolescent human girls are more affected by nicotine. And so middle school is the right time to get them addicted to nicotine. Yeah. Which seems to have been the marketing strategy through the 90s.
Sure.
Right. The
and
classic.
Before that too. Yeah.
Yeah. The bad girl has cigarettes and looks cool.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. My study on salvia was looking at depression. And so I took a group of rats and I depressed them. And then once they were depressed, I gave them hallucinogens to see if it made them get better.
Undepressed.
Mm-hmm.
So did you just play them like The Cure a lot?
Right. Right.
How did you depress them?
Oh, it's the easiest thing in the world, right? It's the same as a person. You just give them a little bit of stress every day that they can't predict.
Oh, okay.
Right. So for like a human, I would give you like a shitty manager who calls you into meetings at 4 in the afternoon, at traffic, those kind of things. But like for rats, they don't drive or anything. So I would put like a strobe light on them overnight, or I would give them, they water deprive them overnight, which is not really a big deal, except then I would give them an empty water bottle for an hour. So they keep trying to drink and getting nothing.
Oh.
Or put them in a cage that's tilted at a 30-degree angle.
Yeah.
And all these things would happen on a randomized schedule.
See, because Julie watches a lot of the reality shows, and I've often said that they need to do something like that for Big Brother. They need to legitimately fuck with those people,
Sure.
and not just give them competitions, but like they give them they let them go outside, but like don't let them go outside. Give them artificial light, and then
Mhm.
change the clock so they have a 23-hour day.
Yeah.
I
I'd
do,
do it.
do things like that. You know, uh,
We got about an hour wiggle room on our circadian rhythm, but if you
yeah,
went beyond that, 22, 26-hour day,
yeah. Well, and just fuck with it.
totally lose it.
Change it. Like change it from a 23-hour day to a 25-hour day, and just
Mhm.
shift it, because you can just change the clocks. Because I don't even think they give them clocks. So you don't give them
Mhm.
clocks. Just change the circadian rhythm of the light cycle of the exterior lights.
Oh yeah, that breaks some people up. That'd be some trouble.
Yeah, I would be down to watch that kind of stuff. Like the psychologically just
Hmm.
the psychological manipulation of people in that way. I think that would be more interesting than let's just put a bunch of people who are definitely going to get into fights in here. Like, okay, that's fine. I mean, at this point, I'd rather just watch a good episode of Naked and Afraid, just
Hmm.
because those. I mean, they've figured it out with that one. Just put a conservative Christian dude and some hippie chick, a conservative Christian hunter and a hippie chick vegan. Done. Dunzo. Like, you don't need to do anything else. The
Street
drama just
gold.
it's right there.
It's just built in.
Yeah, make sure it's a location that is going to get down into the 30s overnight, so they're going to have to share body heat. I can't sleep next to a naked woman. I can't touch another naked woman because of the
Yeah.
sanctity of my marriage. And she's over there like, motherfucker, if you don't cuddle me, I'm going to cut your balls off because it's cold out here.
I feel like that's the only way I can sleep. Sorry.
Right. Right. One of my favorites though was this one who's like, I'm never gonna. I can't kill anything. I can't harm nature. I can't kill another living thing. And like they found this like cove thing that they were sleeping in, and it was like they woke up the next morning just covered in spider webs. The
Oof.
next thing you see is the person with a torch just stabbing it into this thing. Die, gonna kill you. Just burning out the spiders. One night, one bad day. It's all it takes.
I heard Nick Offerman recommend Alone as a show that's like that, like the survival in the woods thing. But there's no drama because it's just a person alone,
Right.
and they have to see how long they can last.
Yeah. I think I've heard of that one.
That sounds fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
They have to-
We're currently watching Naked and Afraid XL, which is so they take people who have completed Naked and Afraid at least once, sometimes multiple times. And to complete it, you have to spend 21 days out in the woods or out in an environment that's hostile. With this, they send them out in teams, like in teams of 3, and then you go out for 40 days and you see if you can make it. But there are multiple teams out there. So if you search around, you might actually meet up and can team up with other people. So, like the one we're currently watching is actually like the 5th or 6th time they've done this. And I stopped watching it for a number of years, but it was like, oh, I forgot this was on and I kind of enjoyed it. So we're watching it now. They've got people doing 40 and 60-day challenges out there.
wow.
Yeah, it's nuts. They're in the Amazon. So like they're walking along, it's like, oh, that's a fertile ants. Yep, we're gonna need to be careful now because that's like one of the deadliest spiders in the world. I'm gonna go kill it and eat it. Yeah, it's pretty great.
Nice. I like those kind of shows. Although, like, I can't imagine it for me.
Oh no.
Like, I did on day one. I'm just gonna lay here. Is this good TV? I don't know.
Yeah, like what I love is like you get these people who've done this multiple times. They get out there and like in the first or second day, they're vomiting profusely because their body just can't stand the environment. It's like that's me. For me, it's like I give you 40 to 60 hours, maybe. I'm not sure I could do that many days.
That happens to me when I'm trying to parallel park.
Just start vomiting.
Oh, I can't do this. We're finding a garage.
Oh God, we got to park in the city. Bring the
Right.
barf bags.
Well, that was an interesting chain. We're like, oh, done talking about this movie. I gave drugs to rats. Check out these nature shows. I mean, nature show is the wrong term.
I mean, kinda.
Mhm.
The best is like they're hunting animals for food, but like this one guy runs across a sloth, and it's like at eye level, and he's like,
Sloths.
"I'm really hungry. You can't defend yourself. You live your life." He just walks away, like he walks away. And he's like, "You know what? I'm a hunter, but there's a karma to nature, and I'm not gonna hunt something like that because he can't defend himself." And it was just like it was great.
I hate sloths.
Really?
I have nightmares about sloths getting their claws like hooked on these bones in my shoulder, and I
Oh,
can't get them off me. And then the moss that is growing on them like covers me as well.
we get a chance to pet a sloth. We did that
Just like
in Florida a couple of years ago.
I don't like them. Even when they smile, it looks like they're sad because they're upside down.
Mm.
I'm not into it.
They're smiling because they're going to hook onto you
They might.
and give you their death moss.
Ugh. A very slow death.
Well, Mitch, I wish I would have known that before. I would have named my town Sloth Death Moss.
Sloth moss.
Just name every single character card you pick up. Sloth Death Moss.
Slothy McSloth face.
All right. You know what? I'm done.
Yep,
Yep.
we did it.
All right. See you guys next week. We're going to talk about R.
See you tomorrow.
Yep. See you guys tomorrow.
tomorrow.